Good morning, everyone. Good morning to this morning coffee for the soul, and we are going to talk about love. We are going to choose a topic that we are so much in need about. Today's topic is something that we can all relate, yet we all have different definitions of what love is. I'm going to be sharing this to my personal page as well. So in the beginning, I like just a little patience so I can share this video. But we always talk about what love is. What do you think? And if for a second you say love is a feeling, love is an action, love is a philosophy, what is love to you? If I was to ask you, and of course you can all put any comments here that you might have and share anything that you know. What is the most beautiful definition of love that you have ever come across? Does anybody have any that comes to mind? And I think that we all have heard love poems, we all have heard actions that truly represent love. And up to today, it's very interesting because I had never given that much thought of really love. What does that represent? Is it a feeling? Because if it's a feeling, what happens when you just don't feel but you act? Is it still an action of love? And again, it's truly something we should think about. Have you ever felt love for someone, and have you ever felt out of love? So if you did that, has it been love all along? Can you ever fall out of love? And that's something very interesting because people will say that once you truly are in love, it's impossible to fall out of love. Otherwise, it would never have been considered love anytime through that time. So again, do you love? Are you a person that walks in love? And can you ever fall out of love? Teresa's saying good morning. She's got the rainbows there, and it's amazing to see people signing in. And thank you so much, Teresa. Here, I just share this on my page so everybody can see it as well. Well, I think the most beautiful definition of love that I've ever seen is really written on the letter of Paul to the Corinthians, his first letter, and that was over 2,000 years ago. And I think love is still as current as it was over 2,000 years ago. And Paul, in a few sentences, and he has pretty much summed up everything that love is composed of. And this wasn't really a letter where he sat down to write, or it's not really a poem that he sat down to write. This is something that naturally came from him. This is something that spontaneously he started to talk about what love is. And some of the components of love, he began saying with the word that we all have, I think what's perhaps the most difficult with. He begins, and I'll just read a little piece of what he said about love. He says this: love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast. It is not proud, it is not self-seeking. It does not dishonor others. It is not easily angered. It keeps no records of wrong. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. Some of these words that Paul said, we can really bring into our lives and say, am I a person walking in love? Am I developing this love as I grow? Because we can study Spiritism, we can study Kardec's 5 books, the basic, the solid of our faith. We can study all of these amazing philosophers. We can study all the words that Jesus has pronounced in his life, all of his actions. But if we don't get the essence, if we don't really understand what love has to be all about and how we can be loving people. When we watch the news and people are talking about politics, when we go to a friend's house who is perhaps gossiping about someone else, are we bringing love into the mix, or are we bringing chaos into the mix? Are we people that say things to agitate a situation, or are we people that calm a situation down? Are we people that bring light, or are we bring doubt? And how is it to be in love then? How is it for us to be a person who others will come to you and say, I want to be near this person because I can feel so much love coming out of this person? Well, a person that walks in love certainly is a person who allows others and who understands others to be the way they are. A person who walks in love is a person who doesn't judge others, who is a person who will never make a situation more chaotic. A person who walks in love is exactly what Paul says. A person who walks in love is a patient person. Why is patience perhaps the biggest component of love? Because when we are patient with others, we understand that everyone has their own time to achieve whatever they are to be in the future. And we are all walking in light. We are all eventually going to be love. So when I am patient, I understand others. And I also understand that I have my own faults. And I am patient with myself as well. So when Paul says love is patient, I usually get stuck on that very first. So I know that, I have a lot of work to do to be a loving person. Because how many times we lose patience when someone just says that they have voted for a certain president, and immediately we dislike the person. How is that walking in love? How is that being loving? So when we are patient with others' growth, when we see evil and we say, I will still love, because I understand that evil is merely an ignorance of love. So if someone is evil, let's use that word. I know there is no such thing as evil. It's just the absence of love. But if it is the absence of love, then what do they need? They need love. And when we're not patient and we immediately experiment, I guess even joy, when we see someone who's evil go to jail, or when we see someone who's evil fall, well, what they need is actually the opposite of that. So love is patient. Love will wait. When we have a relationship, when we're in a relationship, let's bring this to our everyday life. When we're in a relationship that we seek the other person and we need the other person to love us, and we don't allow them to have their own time, then it can't be love. Because again, according to Paul, and he knew a thing or two about love, he says that love is patient. So if the other person is not ready to give you love, you still love, because love is patient. If you are not being patient, you are not walking in love. Let's think about that. Can we change that? Absolutely. We can all work and be more patient people. Allow people to take as long as they can, but always motivate them and exemplify what you want from them. That is really how you teach, how you learn. Being patient, yet exemplifying what you want. That is the very first word of that letter to the Corinthians. Love is patient. How patient am I being? If I want this person so badly, if I want to marry this person, if I want to be in a relationship. Hi, Nora. How are you? Good morning, my darling. If I want to have someone in love with me, if I force them to be in a relationship, that is not love, because that is not a patient action. The second, love is kind. Now, in Spiritism, we have the definition of what charity is, and one of it is benevolence towards all. So Paul is saying the same thing. Love is kind. He doesn't give any continuation to that as far as being kind to whom. He simply says love is kind, period. So when you are not kind, when you act with spite, when you act any other way that is not kindness, It is not love. So if you want to be that person, if you say, I want to be someone who walks in love, I want to be someone who is love. And I know it might take a while, but every day I want to be more and more this example of love. Then you need to know that love is kind. Not kind to those who are good to you. Not kind towards those who are kind. But kind, period. Kind to all. Especially kind to those who are not kind to you. If we see the example of our Lord Jesus, he was kind, period. He did not pick and choose who he should be kind to. So again, love is patient, love is kind. Love does not envy. Now, love does not compete. We sometimes covet what others have. And there is nothing wrong with admiration for someone else's position in life or what they have or what material things they might have. That is okay to want something in life. But when you envy is such a terrible thing, because envy is usually you actually feel bad for someone having what you don't have. How can that be love? So when we start to be happy for others, especially those who have what you would want to have, that is truly the definition of freedom, because envy ties you. Envy ties you to everything opposed to love. So when Paul says it does not envy, that means that love walks in freedom. Love, when you truly are happy, when someone else is happy, even if you are not, even if in your life everything is chaos, everything is a mess, but your friend says, I won the lottery. You see, it's very easy to be a friend to someone when everything is chaotic, correct? Some people think that, oh, friends, we know our friends when we get sick or when we lose our job. Well, it's very easy to have friends come to you and offer help. Now, when you win the lottery, when you find the love of your life, that is the situation that will bring out the envy. So that is really when you know someone is your friend or not. When they can really vibrate in love, when they can really be happy for you. That is really the test. It's not when you get sick, but it's when you win the lottery. It's when you find the love of your life and the other person has just ended a relationship. So that is when you know that person truly loves you, because they can truly feel love when you are happy. So again, love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast. Why do we feel the need to demonstrate everything that we have, that we are, how smart we are, and speak about how much better you are? Love doesn't do that. It doesn't need that. Now, there's a very big difference of shining your light, of showing your talents. That is actually good, because you will motivate people to do good things. So there is nothing wrong in sharing a great experience, in sharing a vacation, a photo, a picture, and showing how you just graduated with honors. Or I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about sharing a great experience or being light and sharing your light with others. Here we're talking about boasting. This is, I guess this is an action where you want others to envy you. You see, it's very different when you share your light and you want others, and you want your light to contaminate in a good way all others around you. That is a good thing. But when you boast, you want others to feel less and you want to belittle them. So love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast. It is not proud. And we know in Spiritism, Kardec has gone over and over on questions that has to do with pride. And when we are proud, it doesn't mean that pride is the opposing position of humble. And humble has nothing to do with having money or not having money, or having things or not having things, being smart or not. It is knowing that you're not less than anyone, yet you're not better than anyone. And you are just someone's brother or sister. And you are equal in the eyes of God. So there is no need to be proud in a sense of you are better. So love is not proud. Love is humble. And we know the best quality, perhaps in my opinion, but one of the best qualities that Jesus has demonstrated is humility, is being humble, is being able to sit down with the Pharisees, the prostitutes, with all of the people that were seen as the bad people, right? At the time, as far as the hypocrites, all the dirty people, the Samaritans, all of those back then that had those eyes on them. Well, Jesus made no difference. He made no distinction. So when love is not proud, love is accepting of all. And when you are able to put a suit and tie and sit with big company owners and treat them the same exact way as if you sat down on the sidewalk with someone who is begging for food and you have a sandwich with them, when you can do that, you understand. And when you feel the same, and when you feel that yourself is the same person, it has no difference from being in a position where people with power are with you, or people that are completely powerless in some situations, and you feel the same for them, and you feel the same, and you feel that you are the same person. Then you are working exactly against pride. And again, love is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It doesn't belittle anyone. Love does not make anybody less than you. It doesn't matter how evil they are, how poor they are, how ugly they are, how all of these words, all of these things that we qualify people with. When you understand that everyone has honorable in them, because everyone is exactly the same essence, and we're all walking towards the same goal. So you don't belittle people. You don't think anyone less than you. That is love. That is the love that Paul is talking about. So love is patient. Love is kind. Love does not envy. It does not boast. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. People in love does not need love. People that walk in love always simply love. So when I love, I simply love. I have no desire of others loving me. When I do the things that may even distance people from me, but if I do it for their own good, and I know that I will be hurt through those actions, that is love. When you have an ego that is so healthy that you have no need for others to applaud you, you have no need for others to see you as the kind, the good, the beautiful, yet you just act in love. That is what we're talking about here, being in love. When you do things for your children, that your children will come to you and say, "Mom, I hate you," but you know you're doing the right thing for them. But you need not the children to say, "My mom is the best, she's great, she gives me everything." That is love. Because my need for your approval, for your kind words is no longer. I just need to do what is loving. So sometimes a parent will do things for their children where their children will hate them, but they are doing the best for their children. And for that, they need no self-seeking love. They're not doing it for themselves. They're doing it for them. So my need for love is no longer. I just want to love. It keeps no records of wrong. It is not easily angered. We get angry for such little things. We just simply get angry from people that don't say good morning to us sometimes. Love doesn't do that. When you walk in love, you simply want to give all the best you can, all the best you have for others. And you walk with this light that will brighten everyone's day. You don't want approval from anyone. You don't need others to say good morning to you. You simply say good morning, and that is enough. A person who truly walks in love, it's a constant battery that constantly recharges because you are always giving love. So it never stops. You don't need anything back. So again, it is not easily angered. Do you think you will be angry at some point today? On this beautiful day here in New Jersey and New York, sunny, beautiful, do you think that you will be angry by the end of the day? Or have you already gotten angry? And angry. So again, let's break that cycle. And the minute that you get angry, you say, there is a reason for this. And maybe I don't understand it, but I will no longer allow such things to get to me because it's not about me. How can I make the situation better? How can I give love? And again, when we switch things, that it's not about you, and perhaps this person who didn't say good morning to you is having such problems, is having such a bad day that they don't need you to get angry at them. They need you to love them and understand them and simply let go. You know, when you stop putting your needs first and when you start giving, you start walking in love. It keeps no records of wrong. And we see sometimes in families, especially in therapy for families, people bring things from 20 years ago. People keep records of wrong so many times. We bring things back from the past to throw at somebody else's face sometimes. Again, according to Paul, we'll see, love keeps no records of wrong. Let it go. When you let go of all the insults that you have received, when you let go of this, you kind of break that chain that holds you to the past. You break that chain of hate, of misunderstanding, because it's all misunderstanding. It's all ignorance. Every single evil action is ignorance. Because whoever is truly in love would never do such a thing. So, again, let's think about walking in love and not needing this love. Because love will recharge your own love. It doesn't matter if it comes from others. As long as you give, you will have. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. And what is the truth? Everything that you have heard, have seen, have read about, everything that Jesus has taught us is love. So when we rejoice when someone does something right, when someone says the right thing, again, that is this battery that will recharge ourselves. And when we do not take part in evil, when we close our mouth, when we could have just given fuel to a situation that is already chaotic, when we go on Facebook and we start attacking people for thinking differently than us, that is, again, that is delighting in evil because you feel the need to mix up with evil. So again, that is the opposite of love. And to finalize, it always protects. It always trusts. It always hopes. It always perseveres. And again, friends, doesn't matter what your life is, what is happening in your life. It doesn't matter if you believe that you have no choices or hope is so faint and far. It always perseveres. So it doesn't matter what we're going through in our lives. Love will always, always perseveres. And if not because we have lost hope, only because we know that there is no such thing as opposite really of love. Everything is love. The opposite is simply ignorance. Once someone truly finds love, and we all will, then all the ignorance will go away. And that is why the truth is so important. I wanted to leave you this message here. And Luis Camargo was saying, good morning. We have Michael Raphael. We have Alexandra, Paula, Fernanda. We have Claudia. We have Stella here, Nora. We have Soraya, Isabel, Rahayani, Marilda. Good morning. Alice, Teresa. Thank you, friends, for coming and hearing perhaps a little message, a little reflection about love. And I would advise you all to read the entire letter. It's the first letter to the Corinthians that Paul, the Apostle Paul, has written. We all hear that at churches, at weddings, but really study this letter. Really read every word and see on a scale, perhaps, how loving are you? How much love are you taking really from inside of your heart and you are sharing with the world? Because sometimes we want the world to give us and we don't realize how much we have to give. And giving love is certainly the most efficient way to have love. Thank you again. Have a wonderful Sunday. We will talk again about a different topic next Sunday, 8:30 in the morning. Thank you all.